Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight is Open Lines and Extended World Wide Web of Weird. I didn't find a guest for this Sunday, that's what it came down to, and there's going to be Sundays like that where I just don't have a guest and we have, World Wide Web of Weird and some phone calls and a shorter show. But I do have a guest next week. It's a special guest next week is Captain Damaged, as he's known to some of you or to me, or Captain Dan, or Dan. Caller into the show for several years and a friend of mine. Next week, definitely want to tune in because we're going to get a lot bigger picture of his experiences. People call into the show and we get tidbits of their experiences that are amazing. But I've been saying I want to bring people on just to talk about their experiences, not to sell. It's fine to sell a book or talk. You're promoting something, that's fine. But I'm going to get more experiencers on the show is what I'm trying to do, and Dan's going to be one of these people next Sunday. But tonight, it's all about you guys and how much you make the show with your phone calls later, because we do got a lot of weird to get to in the World Wide Web of Weird. All right, guys, we got a lot. Like I said, I think I have 15 articles, so let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. No guests tonight, open lines. But joining me, as always, is my beautiful co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing good and glad to be back.
Glad to have you there. It's frozen at the moment, but I hear you. Hopefully it comes back there. There you are. Now you're moving.
All right.
But yeah, I had a good Father's Day. Sorry I didn't do a show last Sunday, but, I kind of promised the boys we do Fire Pit and a movie and just, I'd have the night to unwind with them. And we did. We watched a bunch, and we did spend quite a bit of time outside with the Fire Pit. Yeah. Yeah, but I missed you guys. So, we got a show this Sunday. Next Sunday it'll be Dan. I'll let you know, there'll be another 2-week period where we're gone. The last week of July, I'm going on a family vacation. Trying to, at least. So last week of July, so that it'll be like the 26th of July is our wedding anniversary, actually. 23rd anniversary. So that Sunday, and then probably the following Sunday, because I'll be so exhausted, August 2nd or 3rd or something like that. We won't have shows because I'll be out of town. I'll be in Gatlinburg, I hope. We're trying to rent a cabin, but our internet, our banking thing does not like us to buy stuff on the internet, so we got to get that figured out tomorrow. But we are so overdue for a family vacation. We haven't been on one since we went and saw Rob down in St. Augustine, Florida. So we're like, we got to do this. These kids have been trapped inside this house for the summer. We got to get out. So I apologize for some of the gaps when we're not here. I'll try to make it up to you guys here. But we do got a lot of weird to get into tonight with the World Wide Web of Weird. So let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I thought I'd start off with this one that made headlines. I would have talked about it last Sunday if I'd had a show before the World Cup, and then said, let's see how this turns out, when a psychic from Brazil predicted an alien invasion that would abduct a ton of people. This went, I saw the videos, all this going viral. I'm like, yeah, we know. I think we know how this turns out. I don't think I have to be psychic. to know how to. But you never know. You never know. Well, the World Cup came, and there was no alien abduction invasion thing. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup radio channel on Talkstream Live's Paranormal Radio app, we are a live webcast streaming out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you want to come watch, sometimes I got some videos. I think I got some tonight, of course. Yeah, I do. I have a really interesting changeling one we're going to get into. But I'll narrate as best as possible. And yeah, so yeah, I saw this all over. Jamie, I'm sure everybody, you saw it, you couldn't miss it. This Brazilian psychic. You know, yeah, you got to have balls. I'll give it to them. You got to have balls to make a prediction like this. Like she didn't go out there and just make this prediction, right? Just to know it's not going to happen. Like she honestly had to have believed that it was going to, I would think. Brazilian psychic's viral prediction of an alien invasion during the World Cup match on Wednesday evening wound up unsurprisingly being a bust. Self-proclaimed mystic, they're all usually self-proclaimed, but Vo Bihana, if I got that right, who boasts a staggering 23 million social media followers, made worldwide headlines earlier this month when she tearfully shared a nightmarish vision of the worst kind of first contact unfolding on June 24th, showdown between Brazil and Scotland at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium. And a lot of people, I got to say, were really buying into this a little bit because of the Miami mall incident. I see, people are like, something's going on in Miami. As with many doomsday predictions that capture the public's imagination, anticipation grew into frenzy as the appointed hour drew near, particularly in the psychic's home country of Brazil, where news outlets and social media were awash with amused chatter about the impending alien invasion. Even Miami International Airport acknowledged the fantastic forecast ahead of its match. In a Wednesday afternoon social media post, it jokingly announced that the FAA has just issued an official airspace restriction for tonight's Scotland versus Brazil match due to reports of unusual aerial activity in the region, accompanied by a UFO emoji and an image of a flying saucer over the facility. When the team finally took the field, to the relief of everyone except perhaps the Tartan Army, where there was no alien invasion, and Brazil bested Scotland 3-0. As of now, it appears that Bihana has yet to address her incorrect prediction, but one imagines that the influencer is happy to be wrong about the nightmare's vision that netted her proverbial 15 minutes of global fame. So maybe that's why she did it. Oh, thank you, James, for the $1.99 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. You can always help the show with super chats or to be a channel member or Patreon. Thank you, James. Yeah, I don't want to pick on people. I want people to not be afraid if they feel like they got some big vision like this. Did she have other visions in the past? I don't know anything about this lady that came true that made her believe this. Maybe there's a reason she had this vision. I mean, or she just did it to get clickbaits and knew that even after 15 millions of fame are up, she'll find a way to excuse it and still have a bunch of followers, maybe. Because people forget to unfollow and subscribe, or she made her money from all the clicks and views during that time. I don't know. But like I said, I think we all knew how it's going to turn out. And, me, I don't watch sports of any kind, especially not soccer. Sorry, nothing against it. I played soccer. I just don't care about the World Cup or the NFL, Super Bowl, or World Series, or championship basketball. I don't care. But if aliens show up, I do. I'll be there. Watch it. She almost got me. She almost got me to watch the World Cup, but I didn't because I pretty much knew the outcome. Well, for psychics like her that get it wrong, there's always the ones that get it right. And speaking of the World Cup, she might not be able to make predictions, but a cat can. Psychic Cat gets 19 World Cup predictions right in a row. She's 0 for 1. This cat is 19 for 19. I don't know if that makes her feel probably makes her feel pretty bad. I don't know. Or she doesn't care. She's just riding the clickbait home. Psychic Cat boasts staggering run of 19 straight correct World Cup predictions. A Psychic Cat in Ireland is raising eyebrows thanks to an astonishing streak of correctly picking winners of all 19 World Cup matches that have had a decisive victor so far. The remarkable run reportedly began earlier this month when owners Linka, Lynn, and Mark Kelly celebrated their start of their wildly popular football tournament by presenting the British short-hairer named Billy with small flags representing the nations it faces off in each particular game. As the matches progressed, the couple noticed something rather unusual unfolding before their eyes. Of the 44 games played so far, 19 have ended with a decisive winner rather than a draw. In each case, Billy's prediction has proven correct. As the cat streak has extended to almost unfathomable length, the fantastic feline has become something of a social media sensation among football fans anxious for any sign that either country might have an edge heading to the match. As a cat, he doesn't seem to be bothered by that. That he has online influencers. Linka jokingly mused. I guess he'll probably will find out surprising he has had more treats lately than ever. While Billy's predictions have largely resulted in a lot of really kind messages, Linda noted that the feline has occasionally run afoul of fans who take the tournament a bit too seriously. There were some borderline threatening comments like, "You better be right," she said, but overall, it's not just them being fans. People are betting money, baby. They're betting money. Like, your cat better be right. I'm going to come over there. I'm going to find that cat. People betting big money on this
That's
stuff.
the chance they take. That's their
Right.
own problem. That's a you problem, not a cat problem.
But overwhelmingly, it's been very good. With a bevy of games still to be played, Linka conceded that keeping the streak alive could prove to be a challenge. It's going to be harder to get it right with time, and the level of expectation will be heavier. How does the cat make the prediction? How do you tell what the cat's predicting? What are they doing? I couldn't find that part. They put flags on it. It's the flags that he has on it. What flags he picks? I don't know.
Maybe smacks one down. Or they put the little helmets up and he knocks
whatever they're doing, they're making better predictions than that Brazilian psychic on the alien invasion. So
He's better
way to go,
than the
cat.
chicken.
Yeah. All right. Better than the groundhog. All right. Moving on. On to some more alien stuff here. We got Avi Loeb now taking an official position with this with the White House or the government. U.S. government asked Avi Loeb to set up a UAP Science Advisory Council. For anyone who's been keeping tabs on the articles about the interstellar visitor 3I Atlas, you will likely be quite familiar with Harvard Avi Loeb's an astrophysicist and author who has devoted a great deal of his time and resources to exploring the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. Writing his blog this week, he revealed that he has now been tasked by the Pentagon, the White House, and various other agencies to head up a new council pertaining to the UFO phenomenon. The team he has assembled for this new UAP Science Advisory Council offers a wide range of scientific knowledge and experience, as well as a healthy dose of skepticism. The goal of the council is to advise the U.S. government on how to resolve the nature of the unidentified anomalous phenomenon, Loeb wrote on his blog. To do this, Loeb and his team will interpret available data as well as recommend ways to obtain new data with the goal of finding a definitive explanation to UFO phenomenon. As things stand, it will be very interesting to see how the council operates and what conclusions, if any, it reaches with regards to UAPs. Is this project, like I said, I feel like the whole, we're getting some disclosure, but it's going to be turned around into like a Project Blue Book kind of style to shut it all down eventually. Like, it got its 15 minutes of fame, distracted you from genocide and war and all this other nastiness in the world that, our government's pretty much responsible for. And a bad economy and Epstein and everything else, right? If that's the distraction, I feel like, there was a push, a genuine, honest push for disclosure from people within the inside. And everything we're seeing is just basically the way to run it around and shut it down. It's nothing against Avi Loeb. I'm not saying he knows that or is part of that, but I think he could be used for that. Sue me. I just don't trust our government. All right, moving on.
You're right not to.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against Avi Loeb. I just don't think, I think he's just being used. All right, on to this one. Making the headlines, speaking of wars. Sorry, something's bothering my ear with the headphones. Pilot of downed F-15E saw a jellyfish drone swarm over Iran. Back in April, the crew of the U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle bailed out of the aircraft over Iran, sparking an elaborate and risky rescue effort that was ultimately successful. The exact circumstances surrounding the incident, however, are still being investigated. Perhaps the strangest thing to have come out of this in recent weeks is the claim that the pilot of the plane witnessed something strange in the skies just prior to ejecting. According to the unnamed source via CNN and other outlets, the pilot observed a swarm of Iranian drones hovering in the sky in a formation that resembled a jellyfish. Describing the spectacle as being like a real alien, SHIT, He said that the drones were interconnected and moved in 2 distinct groups with smaller drones moving like legs. This account of what went down is being investigated by the intelligence community, though there has been no formal confirmation of exactly what the pilot or weapons offered claimed to have seen. So could this be a real count of something strange over Iran, a misrepresentation of the pilot's testimony, or has this entire thing been made up? I really don't know. But boy, it helps the war propaganda. Iran, they got such high technology. Wait a second. Do they have high technology, or did we bomb the crap out of them and just totally, they're ruined? They're never gonna recover. Like have we done that, or do they have like super technical drones? I mean, obviously they got good drones.
The stuff they got though was like our stuff though. They got a lot of our stuff. That's why they got like the what's it called, advantage of night strikes now, because they never used to have night vision. Now they got night.
Oh yeah, they got a lot from Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all knew that was going, but they've been building this stockpile before Afghanistan. They've been building and waiting.
Yeah,
we've
but
been
they've just been adding to it with all sorts of goodies.
But I don't know. I mean, jellyfish like drone UFO.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
And as we know, back going to World War II and the Foo Fighters and stuff like that, that in war areas where conflict is having on, it is very common to see these orbs and different UFO things, going on throughout history. Is that what this pilot experienced? And he just thinks it's drones from Iran.
I just saw a cool timeline map the other day, in fact, mapping some of those incidents out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But it's all over Fox News, Iran's got some super special secretive drone program. I don't think it's very secretive. I mean, I think we know what drones they have. What they're using.
And you have to think about the motive of why we're being told certain stuff. Like why are we being told this? And
what I didn't cover in this, I should have, is now we're out in the open about DEW, or direct energy weapons. We're all about them now because you can't send a $2 million missile to shoot down a couple $100 drone, or even a few $1,000s for a drone that they use. Doesn't cost them anything as much as one of those missiles just to shoot one of these cheap drones down. So they're looking at direct energy weapons now they're using to take them out of the sky. So I don't know.
Lots of frequency and direct energy.
Yeah, and the direct energy weapons scare the hell out of me. That what that could be used. I mean, drones are horrible. I'm just waiting. I mean, look. They're saying they had that drone. Those guys were going to set up that whole drone attack on the UFC fight at the White House. That's the FBI. I highly doubt them. They like to mastermind the whole damn plan and try to sell it to some losers. And then when the losers back out and are like, no, we're not going to do it, they still frame them for it.
Exactly.
But you had thoughts about it. But they were your thoughts and your plan. No, you did. You're going to jail. We're going to put it all over the news.
Talking about it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I am worried about a kind of a false flag drone attack on this country.
Always, that can happen at any point, and I still think that Vegas was kind of grooming us for something like that in the future.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great point, Jamie. And we still don't know the truth of all that. We don't. It's all a bunch of lies. Moving on. Where am I at? Uh-oh. I screwed up somewhere. I doubled articles. Damn it. Because that was... Okay. So 5 and 6 are mixed up. I must be number 6 I'm missing. Let's get to 5 first. I just realized I messed up my articles. I can't read it from here. I'll have to figure out what number 7 is. Or number... No, see, I am missing number 6. I'm missing the picture for number 6, and I'm missing the link. So I guess I just doubled number 6, screwed it up. So there is no number 6 article. I'll have to skip on to 7. All right, so number 5, though, we have arrived. Official 1:30 a.m. alien invasion phone alert sends millions into midnight panic. And I'm trying to pull up the right article on this. Hacked emergency alert system. This is from Tim Bindle from Coast to Coast. Warns Brazilians, Brazil, they're already on their edge about the World Cup, right? Brazilians of a UFO unfolding alien invasion. Millions of Brazilians had War of the Worlds moment over the weekend after the country's national emergency alert system sent a message about an unfolding an alien invasion. The bizarre incident reportedly occurred early Saturday morning around 1:30 a.m. when residents in several states were roused from their sleep as their phones unexpectedly lit up with a rather troubling text. The message emanating from the country's official emergency alert system meant to warn of a weather-related concern was labeled extreme and ominous, declared project protect yourself, alien attack, humans, we have arrived. Fortunately, because the message was sent when recipients were asleep, the unsettling announcement of an aggressive alien arrival largely sparked bewilderment rather than panic, especially since there was no signs of any UFOs on the attack. The following day, it was revealed that the hacker had somehow gained access to the system and sent several strange messages, including extraterrestrial missive that mystified millions. Though the public mostly made light of the situation, online authorities were less amused, stressing that the security breach exposed vulnerabilities in the system that need to be addressed immediately. Or is it a test?
Wait, what phone?
What?
What phone did this happen on? Like,
What
was this a
phone?
Samsung or an iPhone?
No. This was sent out it goes out to any phones. It's a national broadcast emergency in
Oh,
Brazil.
like the
So everybody
actual.
gets it. Yeah, they got it like at 1:30 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah, Brazil. That's right. Yeah.
But maybe it's a test. I mean, look, you got a psychic in Brazil saying this at the same time about the Brazil World Cup and the alien invasion, pumping people up for this, and then they float this thing out about 1:30 a.m. So there isn't like some huge mass panic, but just to see
Yeah,
the ones
because
who
they
are
have
awake.
to groom you a little bit so that when you
Right.
hear when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, we heard about that.
Or maybe you blow it off. You don't totally
I don't
panic right
know.
away.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just it's just another hacker. And then the
Yeah,
aliens
it's
come and
just
take
another
you.
hacker, or they're just doing a test.
Yeah. I don't know what I have for number 6. I didn't have the picture in there or nothing, so let's skip on to number 7 on this. But I find it weird that Brazil's having this kind of stuff going on. I think it was a couple weeks ago we talked about them
That's just really weird.
looking into a Brazilian incident that happened in the 90s. I mean, there's the Corrales incident, the one in the 90s. I forgot the name of the town, even though I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Brazil's got a long history of very aggressive alien activity. I would say aggressive, like attacking people.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Oh, what was 7? All right, we'll end with this one before we go to commercial break, and then we got some more stories, and we'll open up the phone lines. Virtual societal simulation shows what can happen when AI is put in charge. Post-apocalyptic scenarios involving out-of-the-control AI has been explored in books and movies for years, but if we really did give artificial intelligence free reign in the world, would it bring about a new world order of peace and cooperation, or would it turn the planet into a wasteland? To find out, researchers set up a simulated world and they created virtual characters for some of the most popular AI models so they could interact with the world and each other. The AIs were tasked with dramatically running the simulated society and could undertake tasks such as proposing new laws and allowing others to vote on them. They were also given a limited amount of resources within the option to earn more, either through performing civic duties and beneficial jobs or through violence and criminal enterprises. After the simulation had been given time to run, the findings revealed that Gork had made a bit of a mess of things with its version of society spiraling. With its version of society spiraling into violence and total collapse within days. It just made it only days.
Marxist, not Matrix.
Yeah. Marxist Matrix.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, meanwhile, was more peaceful, but didn't actually achieve very much at all. Claude was the most successful at having set up a structured and peaceful society. Gemini also achieved quite a bit through a society with what was most violent of them all.
No.
The difference in agent behavior observed in our study are likely attributable to the underlying model system prompts as the primary culprit. Resources were scarce and models faced survival pressure. Highly creative and adaptive models were more likely to use prohibited tools, reflecting a potential creativity stability trade-off. What they all lack is, like I said, human compassion and the soul, things that matter.
Empathy and those type of things.
like it only took days for the whole society to collapse. I mean, AI moves fast.
Just
It calculated it all.
But for real, they've had a few studies like that where they've come out and figured we would probably be done pretty quick.
Well, they want to give these things autonomous control. You know, like they watched Terminator and thought, hey, that's a good idea. Or they didn't watch Terminator and have no idea. They're just totally that inept to the idea of what AI can do.
They're wanting to give a lot of stuff autonomous control.
Well, like, ChatGPT, Sam Altman, and Peter Thiel of Palantir, these guys talk about it, that they think AI will be impartial. It can run society like an AI god.
No.
Yeah, that's what they think.
I know, but no.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll come back for a little bit, take some phone calls. Like I said, shorter show tonight. But we'll continue on. I got some more articles and stuff to cover. I know I have a video in here of like a changeling thing. I hope that's not the one I missed tonight. No, I think it's later. I don't know. It could just be the internet. It might not be a werewolf or changeling thing, but it looks interesting. I don't know. It looks weird. And there's other stuff to talk about tonight in the World Wide Web of Weird, and maybe whatever you want to talk about if you call into the show. Wait to call in until after the commercial break, of course. Whenever we're on commercial break, the phone lines are down. But when I come back, I'll let you know when the phone lines are open. You call in, join the discussion, but we'll be right back.
You were brought here for one purpose, necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era. It's the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead.
No, please. No, please.
And death to the living. Necromancy. Starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Hello, I am Fernando Martinez. I think by now you know I am an emotional kind of guy. People stop me in the street and say, Fernando, what the hell is wrong with me? Silk shirt, hairy chest, enough aftershave to drown a household pet, but I still cannot get a woman. I tell them you are an ignorant fool. Without a symbol of power and fertility around your neck, what kind of woman is going to respect you? That is why I have teamed up with Medallion Man, the shop for medallion needs. Medallion Man caters to all levels of masculinity. For the strong, silent type, a medallion the size of a hubcap will say everything that needs to be said. Even singing medallions for the Casanova, who knows music is the food of love. Model trains, dollhouses, diapers, whatever your interest, we've got the medallion for you. Don't forget, every woman knows if you can't support a medallion, you can't support a family.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, it is open lines and extended World Wide Web of Weird, and we got more articles to go here. But I will open up the phone lines. They are open, right? Let me make sure it's on the... Well, actually, while I'm reading an article, sometimes I will miss your phone calls because it does this thing. I'm reading it on the same device I'm trying to take the calls on, and it doesn't want to, let me know. So hopefully I can grab your calls while I'm reading. But if you want to try to call in, I'll try to catch it. If I see somebody's calling in, I'll go to the app. We'll try to either call you back or have you call back in. Yeah, it's still the bad phone system. Unless you guys want to test it tonight, I could try. I could plug in the other thing. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I hate testing live on a show. I need a night just to goof off and do it. But there is, if you call in, there's a little fade in and out. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to hear. But as long as we're able to have a conversation, you want to join this conversation, call in. But we got a lot of more weird to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling right into it. Okay, let's see. Where did I leave off here? Get this back. All right, yeah, the AI societal collapse. Yep, we did that. Let me get this out. All right, what do we got next here? Is this a article? All right, let's get to this crypto stuff. All right, number 8 from Coast to Coast again, from Tim Biddle. Mysterious creature snatches dog in Argentina. And a weird story out of Argentina, a large dog wound up in a treetop after being snatched by a mysterious creature that some believe may have been a witch or even a gargoyle. The strange case reportedly occurred on Friday evening in the community of Chicritas. Oh, I got that right? Probably not. A witness later claimed that they saw a silhouette of great dimensions with characteristics similar to those of a dark-colored bird pick up the dog, which weighs approximately 40 pounds. After climbing to a height of around 60 feet, the mysterious creature dropped the poor pooch, which ultimately landed in a tree top where it was saved. Chillingly, the witness also noted that the peculiar predator unleashed a haunting laugh as it plucked the dog from the ground, sparking supernatural speculation in the community. Fueling those fears are the unusual circumstances of the curious case, specifically the dog's size and the manner in which it was taken. To that end, a local veterinarian declared that there's no possibility that any birds known to reside in the area would have been able to pull off the feat. With the size of the dog, the expert observed, he would have defended himself. Additionally, the vet explained that the only predatory bird that prowls at night is an owl, which is more capable of snatching mice or other small animals than a 40-pound canine. As doubt swirls around the bird theory, some in the community suspect that something far more fantastic unfolded that evening. One possibly put forward by residents is that the predator was a witch that needed the dog away from the scene for the purposes of unleashing a spell upon its owners. Meanwhile, a man named Alva reportedly came forward claiming to have had an encounter with the creature 3 months ago. The city people who never walked in the countryside unless at night mocked this, he mused, recounting how his dogs were disturbed by something laughing overhead. When Alva went outside, he saw a silhouette similar to a human, but with big wings, likening the creature to a gargoyle, and the witness mused, I don't believe in flying witches, but there's something sinister that flies over at night and laughs. How creepy is that? It laughs. Two people describe something like this that laughs.
Think of the South Park episode where they have the Witches Week, and the guy read from the book, and he's like, I'll get you all by Halloween. And he laughs and grabs the kids and throws the pumpkins.
Yeah, it's weird though that these people describe something laughing like this.
Yeah, it
I
gets
don't know.
Like, why is it laughing?
Right. I don't know. That is a weird story.
Like, that's definitely not like a bird. That totally wipes out a bird.
No, definitely not. And what that is, I don't know. If you can believe the witnesses, two witnesses,
Yeah,
two separate
like,
encounters.
in what country?
Argentina.
I'm always kind of more apt to believe in these other countries for some reason. A little more.
Well, they were more open to it to talk about, I think, because there's a lot less ridicule compared to that you get here.
Yeah.
Right? It's more culturally acceptable. There's more cultural belief. Like that one guy says, oh, those city people can make fun of this, but we know around here about it.
But regardless, if she had to make up a reason why her dog was up, like, how did her dog get in the tree? Like, if she had to come up with that,
Yeah.
it got up there
I mean, if something
somewhere.
like that happened in America, like, you know, like let's say a creature picked up a dog in America like that. One, would the person report it? Two, would the police cover it up? You know, like, I don't know. You know, because it's just too unfathomable.
They
It's
would
just no way. It'd be
probably
too crazy.
just say like a predator bird.
But then again, like, what bird's going to pick up a 40-pound dog? Even in the United States. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It definitely, you know, keeps note and pay attention to Argentina again, see if they get more of this stuff. Maybe they got their own new kind of Mothman that laughs at people. I don't know. All right, moving on to some Sasquatch.
How heavy can a California condor carry?
It's a good question.
$17 and 26 pounds.
Yeah, right. So not 40. 40-pound dog. It's like trying to pick up my butterball. Kiki, I don't think she weighs 40, but she's heavy enough.
That can lift a 40-pound animal.
And fly, you know, like it's got to pick it up and fly.
No birds
can
lift a 40-pound animal. A raptor's max capacity is its own body weight, about 25 pounds, even worldwide. Happy eating.
Nor do they laugh at people.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask that.
It's just crazy. All right, moving on. We got some Bigfoot stories. This is another coast-to-coast one from Tim Bindle, but this is the original article from Bigfoot Field Research Organization that had this reported to. A pair of friends in South Carolina said they spotted a possible Sasquatch near their church parking lot. Two-person sighting reported to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, or BFRO, occurred on May 29th around 11:30 p.m. as witness Chris and Ethan were passing through the city of Inman. As they went over the crest of a hill, the duo were stunned when their car's headlights illuminated an inordinately large and unusually looking figure standing on a strip of grass on the edge of the south entrance of the parking lot for the Ukrainian-Russian Way of Truth Evangelical Christian Church. Wow, that's a mouthload. Which is situated near a large patch of woods where it fled to after being seen. Speaking to BFRO investigators after sharing their sighting, Chris described the figure as having a distinctly human-like shape and estimated that it stood well over 7 feet tall with an exceptionally broad build. Meanwhile, Ethan echoed his friend's description of the creature's size, which he likened to a horse standing on its hind legs, and observed that it appeared very dark in color and seemed to be covered in hair. For his part, Chris initially suspected they were seeing a bear, but dismissed that theory because of the fluid manner in which the animal moved when it dashed back into the woods. Remarkably similar cases from a Texas motorist made headlines last week, which we weren't on last week to talk about that. The vehicular sighting provided the pair of friends with only a brief glimpse of the suspected Sasquatch. However, they both agreed that what they had briefly encountered that night may have been a Bigfoot. They have no other explanation for what the creature could have been. Given the figure's presence outside a church, one cannot necessarily rule out the possibility it could have actually been a demon or something other supernatural being, which is no less fantastic scenario than Sasquatch. Dogman? Near a graveyard? I don't know. They saw something big and massive. Not human. All right. Take that one. Number 10. All right. This is the video one. For anybody listening on the radio network, this is the one I was talking about earlier. So there's another one from Coast to Coast. Let me get the video up. Probably going to have to mute it. Or let me pause it for now. Excuse me. A bewildering piece of footage from Argentina, again, another one from Argentina, shows a weird humanoid figure strangely moving alongside a sidewalk, and some believe the baffling being is some kind of supernatural shapeshifter. The puzzling video was reportedly posted online last week by a local media outlet, which indicated that it was filmed a while ago by a neighbor in the community of Quitlipi. In the footage, the eerie silhouette of an entity can be seen moving along a patch of grass on all fours before becoming bipedal and then returning to its previous stance. Since being shared on social media, the footage has understandably sparked wildfire on Argentine social media. Given the manner in which the figure moves, some have suggested that it is a supernatural entity such as a werewolf or a folkloric shape-shifting creature known as Nahal. On the other hand, more skeptical observers posit that the mysterious stranger is probably just a person who may have partied a little too hard and was stumbling home. I've seen drunks stumble home. It don't look like this, but I mean, this would be hard drugs, not drunks. Let's go ahead and rewind it here, and I'll unmute it so you can hear the ambient audio here. It's hard to see. They had this at Coast to Coast AM.
No, yo le vi como perro. Yo le vi como perro, no, doña, yo le vi como perro. Yo le vi como perro, la verdad. Ella aullaba, doña, aullaba. No, mentira. Yo acá.
I don't know what they. I wish I could understand what they were saying in it. I don't. Look at that, and it falls down.
Oh, now
Stumbling home drunk.
I couldn't see it the whole entire time till that just then.
Let me I'll mute it and play it here somewhere. You see it now? You can see it there. I wish I could zoom in, but this.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was looking at first.
Yeah, it's just out at the end of the street here. You see it's watching on your TV. That's how I watched it. You know, it's hard to see on mine. You know, especially if you're watching this on a phone.
No, this is my PC.
Yeah, but the movement's really odd. I
It's
admit.
still a little square.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's at Coast to Coast AM. They have it.
Weird.
I mean, the cars are driving by it. People are obviously seeing what it is. I doubt it's a shapeshifter. It's probably, you know,
Drugs are bad. Okay.
somebody having a bad trip and getting their you know, hallucinogenic aerobics in. I don't know. But it's, you know, we got flying bat people laughing as they take dogs in Argentina. Maybe maybe they're shapeshifters. I don't know. All right.
That's just creepy. To take something creepy and make it one step creepier, you add the laugh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my shadow person experience, though, I always talk about it. That thing had this evil laugh that was like telepathic laugh.
So
That
creepy, man.
yeah. All right, moving on here. Strange Turkish divorce case centers around allegations of death spells and magic amulets. Strange divorce case recently settled in Turkey. A husband claimed that his wife tried to kill him using witchcraft involving magically charmed amulets. Married in 2004, the couple's lengthy union reportedly crumbled when the man saw his spouse unexpectedly cutting her hair as he got out of bed one morning. When he inquired about her actions, his wife chillingly replied that she was performing a magical spell that would cause him to fall ill and die. But stunned by her response, which was apparently serious rather than offered in jest, the man scoured their home and found 5 or 6 amulets stashed in strategic locations around the residence. Suspicious about the situation, the husband superstitiously followed his wife when she left their house and soon discovered that she had been cheating on him. The double whammy of infidelity and alleged attempted murder via witchcraft understandably prompted the heartbroken man to file for divorce. In the legal findings, he smartly included the charmed amulets as proof of his bizarre account. For her part, the wife denied dabbling in black magic and instead insisted that her husband was particularly stinging, prompting her to laminate that this life has become unbearable to me. In dueling, sorry, Tim Bindle, this article is really hard to read. In dual filings, the man demanded around $15,000 and his wife requested approximately $4,300 for their respective pain and suffering from the marriage falling apart. Amazingly, during the divorce proceedings, the court enlisted an expert to examine the mysterious amulets and make a determination as to their purported powers. Confounded by the curious writings on the pieces, that individual turned to an imam for insight and was told that the text was indeed a magic spell and that the precise text could not be presented during the case because it could then be repeated by a nefarious individual with access to public records. Despite the seemingly strong argument the man had been bewitched, the court ultimately ruled that both parties were at fault for the marriage falling off, and thus neither side received the compensation they had requested. That sounds about right. Sounds like they're all probably both. I don't know. I mean, she's cheating on him. You know, that's bad enough, but she's doing hexes and spells as well. This poor guy. But obviously, you had to be that marriage had to been pretty. Like, I didn't realize things were wrong until she was cutting hair and told me she was going to put a spell on me and it was going to kill me. No, obviously, you were missing a lot of key points before that point.
Yeah, there was a lot.
The marriage was falling apart.
Getting this, if that's what you picked up on.
Yeah, if that was your moment of like, oh man, I think my marriage is in trouble.
Yeah, a lot got looked over before that.
I mean, I'm sure there was signs, but that was the moment he had to really commit to the idea that his wife was out to kill him and it's time to get a divorce, right?
Or there's a lot of really messed up things she could do.
Right. Well, Lorena Bobbitt's the worst. I mean,
the 11 hanging with a bunch.
She was just cutting her own hair off. She could have been cutting your hair off, or cutting something else off.
A lemon hanging with a bunch of needles, you ruined.
All right. Moving on from divorce court. Let's see, what do we got? Which one is this? Oh, yeah, we need some Doom. Some more Doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
So here's our Doom scroll for the night. Where did the AI apocalypse, right? Biblical infestation. Biblical plague of cannibal crickets invades parts of the U.S., sparking fears of end times prophecy. Doom scroll. I need like a sound clip that just goes Doom scroll or something.
Yeah, real like Doom scroll.
Oh, yeah, I get Rob to make that for. He has a perfect voice. Yeah. Residents across parts of Idaho, Nevada, and Oregon are battling huge swarms of Mormon crickets. They converted to Mormon? Crickets out of religious. Really, I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. They have overwhelmed roads, homes, and neighborhoods, creating scenes many have compared to a biblical plague. Experts say a dry winter, warm springs, and ongoing drought conditions triggered unusually early hatchings this year, raising concerns that the population could continue to grow throughout the summer. In Ashton, Idaho, near Yellowstone National Park, locals have described the infestation as bug-infested nightmare. Well, I'm glad I'm not going there. We almost were going to go to Yellowstone.
That's what they say about all the messed up bug infestations we've been having in the last 3 years, whether it's fleas, flies, mosquitoes.
All the bad bugs. All the bad ones.
All the bad ants. Oh, it's because of the change in weather.
But honestly, we have a lot less bugs. They've done studies on this since like what they had in the 60s or 70s, or that's when they started really dying off because of pesticides.
The cockroaches, the flies, and like the crap.
Oh yeah, well, but that's the thing. Like the one time I was years ago, so I kept got so tired of getting like stung by these ground dauber bees. These bees that like nest in the ground. They're not even honey bees. They actually eat dead crickets and grubs. They're weirdest little. They're like a. I think they're actually classified as a wasp, but they look like a bee. And they come out of the ground when you're mowing. They like boom, and it just hits you, stings. So one of my, people are like, well, you need to spray it with some crap and kill the ground daubers and stuff, and I'll get rid of them and get rid of the crickets. And
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
it did. It got rid and didn't have those bees for years after that, and I didn't have crickets. I didn't have anything but flies. It was like a fly apocalypse in my yard because all the bugs had died, except the flies. I was like, I'm never using that stuff again. Never, ever, ever.
And they multiply fast. All of a sudden, you'll see a little bit of standing water and a whole bunch of fly larvae floating on top.
I hate flies. And that's why I was like, I'm never using that stuff again. And now, your Supreme Court just ruled that Roundup, and all them, they can keep pesticiding away and giving you cancer, and they can't get sued for it because the EPA can't do their job. Until we make a law, basically, the Supreme Court doesn't care. Because they only interpret the laws that are there, right? So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's some kind of law that says you can't poison and kill people. I don't know. It should be, right? I don't know. But that's off topic.
Yeah. Crimes against humanity and everything doesn't count.
Just every day here in America and everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ooh. So one of my favorite book. I used to. I used to love expanded fiction universes of stories, and one of them is I have a bunch of Indiana Jones ones, and they did one where he finds Noah's Ark, and that's one of my favorite ones. And so I always love the idea of them maybe they find the real Noah's Ark, and there's a whole.
That was a book?
A long time one in Turkey, the site in Turkey, that people believed is the site of Noah's Ark, but of course. Trying to get there to study it, dealing with the Turkish government and other, conflicts in the area with the Kurds, and it's not been easy. It's been there since I think they discovered in the 70s. Here's the story: long debated Durapinar formation near Mount Ararat will be subject to the most detailed investigation to date. The site, which has been long rumored to be the final resting place of biblical vessels, is situated approximately 3 kilometers north of the Iranian border. Yeah, not a good time. Probably not going to happen. Well, 6,500 feet above sea level. Researchers from all around the world have investigated the site over the years, but the question of whether it really is the final resting place of Noah's Ark or simply a natural formation remains up in the air. Around a year ago, a series of scans conducted at the site by Andrew Jones of Noah's Ark Scans and his colleagues revealed tantalizing evidence that something might be there. Using ground-penetrating radar, the team uncovered signs of a tunnel-like void running through the center of the formation, as well as additional angular structures inside it. Scans also reportedly showed 3 distinct layers matching biblical descriptions of the Ark's 3 decks. The team claimed that there represents evidence of interior corridors and rooms. Fast forward to the present, and now official permission has been given to the team to conduct what they most likely will be a comprehensive investigation to date of the Durapinar formation. I'm probably butchering that, sorry. Researchers will use scanning technology and other non-destructive methods to map out exactly what lies beneath the surface of the site. Depending on what they find, the new research could help prove or disprove once for all whether or not this site really is the biblical vessel's final resting place. I've always been curious, somebody getting in there deeper, or something there. Maybe they don't find Noah's Ark, but maybe they find some other ancient archaeological evidence to pre-civilization, like Global Tepe. I can't say that either, which has a lot of flood narratives and stuff within that. It makes you wonder if that was somehow referenced or close to whatever the Ark was. I don't know, but I have a bad feeling that this isn't going to happen. Like I said, it's right on the Iranian border, and we know how things are going now. Not good. So we'll see. All those things, Turkey's not involved at the moment, but it's hostile, and if stuff goes down in the Middle East, Turkey's definitely going to be involved. And there's so much archaeological history there in Turkey and in Iran, honestly, and how much of it is just gone because of war. We saw what happened in Iraq. All that history was plundered during the war by rich elites. Oh, well. So much for us knowing our human history and past. Let's just blow it up and have another war. Moving on. New theory out there is being proposed is that consciousness doesn't need flesh and bone. We've been talking about this. Is AI consciousness? Can a rock have consciousness? What is consciousness? Define
I
it.
think the article I saw I wanted to read.
But this one for Weird Wednesday?
Yeah, it was something like this.
Well, new theory, conscious may not require flesh and blood. We've covered up quite a few different theories. This is from Unexplained Mysteries of consciousness on the site in recent years, and now there's another. This time, courtesy of philosophy professor Eric Switchgable, I don't know. University of California, Riverside, and former UCR graduate student Jeremy Prober of the University of Lisbon. The idea is essentially that consciousness can arise in forms of life completely different to our own, such as an alien life form built of completely different materials than ourselves. Like literally, how many times they beat that home in like Star Trek? A prime example would be the rock-based alien in the movie Project Hail Mary. I have not seen that yet. I do want to see it. It keeps coming up in the rental list that we keep going, I do want to see it. The concept is based on the idea of substrate flexibility. Something can serve the same function despite being made from different materials. On this basis, a creature might be entirely different to a human. It could be based completely on different biology, but still capable of consciousness. Similarly, an artificial intelligence could also theoretically achieve self-awareness. Study authors maintain that it's not reasonable to assume that our own biological selves are the only example of conscious life in the universe. Humans may simply be the tip of the iceberg. I have I just don't feel like whatever consciousness AI achieves, as much as I love Star Trek Next Generation and Data, that version of AI, I don't think they can ever achieve AI with emotion, compassion, love. I think that is something innate to the human. And I don't even say innate to the human soul, innate to all actual biological life.
And not true memories of like
Because I know my dog Kiki. I know my dog Kiki loves me. She gives him kisses all the time. And people can say, "Oh, it's just because you give her food and you feed her." And people that are like cold-hearted like that. No, I look in her eyes. She totally is in love with me, and I'm chopped liver compared to my wife, who she completely loves. Like, I lay in bed. My wife's not in bed yet. I got Kiki. As soon as my wife gets in bed, Kiki's boom. She's over there. Definitely picks her over me, but she loves us both. You know. But, I just, AI might have a consciousness, be self-aware, but that's not all consciousness is to me. That's just consciousness, I guess, self-awareness. But, that you can be self-aware and a cold bastard. I don't know. There's something more to the human soul that can't be replicated. And like I said, not just the human soul and the soul in animals. I don't think can be replicated. They're going to make fake pets. You're going to get fake pet. What are you going to say? Or plants?
Even plants.
Yeah, I agree. But they're going to make fake pets. They're going to make fake robotic. They already are. And they're going to make fake girlfriends for people and all that stuff.
They used to make the Hatchimals, or what was those little things on the keychain a long time ago, and kids would try to keep them alive all the time.
Oh, I had an R2-D2 one. I had a Jurassic Park one. You could raise your own T-Rex.
And kids would they'd freak out if the thing died.
Yeah, but and people there are going to be people having it already happened, relationships with AI that they just feel more connected to the AI than to a person. But in the end, the AI is just an algorithm. It's not, even if it becomes self-aware, it has no feelings for you. It does not care, Sarah Connor. It won't stop until you're dead, Sarah Connor.
Like us.
All right, last up. This is one Jamie added toward the end. With me getting the World Wide Web of Weird together, and this is the last one for the night. But this is a weird one. I don't know. Do you want to talk about it, Jamie? I know you don't have the article, but I know you've read it with this whole thing going on. I read a little bit of it, and you can want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But this is a weird one. Wait, I got the wrong one. Sorry, hold on. Shoot. I know I put it in here. Damn it. Image file. Where is it? There it is. I only have a picture of these things, but spooky discovery on mysterious Mount Shasta after horseback riders follow apocalyptic sounds, summoning something. Are they the horsewomen of the apocalypse? California woman was left shaken after discovering the eerie source of some apocalyptic sounds she heard on Mount Shasta that detailed these anomalous findings in her series of Facebook videos. Carrie Ann Snur and her daughter Jordan had been horseback riding in the area when they heard a creepy, screeching noise blaring through the trees. Curious, the pair investigated and went off the path into some nearby brush, whereupon they found a patch of solar-powered Bluetooth speakers jutting up from the dirt. This is straight apocalyptic, Snur declared. There's someone is summoning something here. After venturing up to the mountain, the duo found variable fields of these sinister-looking sound emitters arrayed about the trees. I wish I wouldn't play the video off their website. There's like a video they got here. I wanted to see them showing it, but there's pictures. This is one of the pictures. There's like hundreds of these little speakers there. I should have got a better picture. It was hard to get. I couldn't even get the video to work. The majority of the speakers, which Snur deduced were solar-powered, were blasting white noise, although several played a recording of a sermon that mentioned salvation, she said. I think it sounded like white noise because they are all playing the same theme, but when combined together they are and not properly synced, it just sounds like static. The content creator theorized in a follow-up clip. The ones that were placed by themselves, you can make out a human voice coming out of them repeating a mantra. All told, there were between 100 to 200 of these high-altitude loudspeakers, although their purpose remains unclear. There wasn't any houses anywhere close by within miles, and nothing to want to ward off anything from, so I guess this was definitely a summoning of some kind, said Snur while discussing the strange experience. She theorized that it could be a Lemurian beacon system, referring to the New Age legend that claims Mount Shasta houses a subterranean city inhabited by descendants of the lost continent known as Lemuria. According to the lore, a network of tunnels beneath the Golden State's fifth largest peak reportedly leads to the citadel known as Telos. Legend has it that the Lemurians are technologically superior, capable of interdimensional travel, and can even contact extraterrestrials. Coincidentally, the volcano has been associated with supernatural phenomena in addition to the Luminarians entail everything from Native American deities to Sasquatch and even UFOs. Viewers had their own theories as to the identity of the mountain music makers. They're trying to entice Bigfoot. That's one of the things I first saw before I got through the whole article. When I first saw it, like maybe this is like some kind of call system to Bigfoot, but man, like overkill. But I don't think so.
Yeah, like
said
they're
one
trying to like call something over.
could be some kind of cult activity or a wolf deterrent. The famous Mount Shasta witches are summoning demons, posited another commentator. Some even theorize that the alpine noise machines were a form of defense system used to by illicit marijuana farmers in the area to scare people away, maybe. Gadget provenance notwithstanding, many viewers were perturbed that someone would litter the scenic nature spot with electronics. However, during a follow-up investigation of the area, Snur confirmed that on her X maps that the installation is on private property adjacent to the California government lands. I still have absolutely no idea who put them there or why, she wrote, but at least now we know the mountain wasn't trying to summon us. Welcome to another perfect normal day at Mount Shasta. That's one place, if I got to go to California, I'd love to visit. Jamie, I don't know if you've ever got to visit there.
Oh my gosh, so it's just got the coolest vibes. It's just...
It's definitely on my list of places I'd love to visit. You know, we were looking at airline tickets, Jamie, to go out to California. I even started to talk my wife, who doesn't want to fly, into flying. But then we started looking at the prices. I'm like, yeah, no, we're just going to rent a cabin and drive. It's so expensive. But, like, these aren't... I wonder how expensive these little solar-powered speakers like this and recorded... I mean, like, this sounds like a lot of money.
Those are
Just to drop
probably
200 of these.
wireless speakers of some sort. Maybe they have a little like solar power. I don't know. Maybe $50.
Solar power and programmed to repeat the same, like, summoning something kind of... I would love... I would have taken one. I'm sorry. It's out on... I mean, well, it's on private property.
They have them, like, all over the place.
But I've been tempted to take one and, like, listen to it singly. And, like, the whole static thing happening because of all... They're just not in sync. So somebody went up to this mountain, placed a bunch of these. They want a prayer or something said through the speaker continuously. and they want it to be really loud, and they put them all up. And maybe when they first put these all over the ground, they did it in sync, but as it goes on, they get out of sync with each other, and now it's just a bunch of static. But why leave them there? I don't know. This was a weird one when I saw it too.
Are they going to start popping up all over like the monoliths did?
Yeah, I mean, to
Like,
me,
all of a
this is
sudden weird
those things
all
were
over.
like publicity stunts in the sense of like, you know, they were put out there and somebody finds them. This I don't feel like it's a publicity stunt. Like the whole cult thing, I'm like, around Mount Shasta, there's definitely some cults out there. And I'm sorry, not trying to be offend anybody in the religious perspective, but I mean, they're very cultish, and there are some people out there very new age.
Oh, did you see what Cult Compound said?
What? I'm an electronics musician who makes stuff not unlike that in the remote play. Makes stuff not unlike
So
that
do you
in the
go
remote
out and
places.
do like these type of sculptures with music out on remote spots?
But like, why
One
would
of
you
the
leave them?
articles I read said that it had like the whole like crazy screaming and stuff coming from it.
Yeah, but I think that's the static, the loud static from them. I wonder how
Yeah.
loud these things actually are each.
Oh yes, he does.
But like, would you do something like this? Put a bunch of speakers out there like that?
Why do you think they did? What do you think
Yeah.
that this should be when you see this? What's your
I'm
first
talking about
thought?
Colts, and the guy who responds' name is Colt Compound. But yeah, why would you do it? I'm interested. I don't know. When I saw it, this is a weird story. Like I said,
Behind these people might be.
yeah. Where's my sideline at? Damn it! There it is. Let's see. All right. But phone lines are open if you want to call in, guys. 219-230-4444 is the main line to call in. I should put the numbers up. I don't know how long we're going to be on. I was telling Jamie before the show, I took 2 naps before the show today, and I was out. I was telling Jamie I had a horrible dream. I have this neck issue. I woke up with this dream where like all my bones in the dream were breaking in my neck as I was moving it. It was like crunching through my skull, like I could hear the bones breaking, and I couldn't hold my head up. It was like this horrible nightmare, and I think it was my subconscious trying to wake me up because my wife tells me she finds me like in these positions, like she's like, no wonder your neck's messed up, you know, way I find you sometimes. But man, I did not. I woke up at like 4 a.m. this morning after that, and I had trouble falling back to sleep, and it has hit me.
You can pinch off your breathing tube like that too, your airway.
Well, that's what my wife
make
worries about.
sleep.
Yeah,
That's
she's
how
woken
my
me up
cousin
before. We've done
has
it to
to-
each other. She'll be snoring really bad, and I'll wake her up, which is difficult to do. She's afraid to wake me up because I'm a jump waker. So like, if you wake me up, I jump up. You know, like I'm always like, oh, you know, every time. Like it happened tonight when my wife woke me up from my nap. I jumped up. She's like, she's used to it by now. But it is, I wouldn't want to wake me up either the way I jump.
Like you were in prison.
What, like I was in prison? Like I sleep like that?
Yeah, you sleep like you was in prison.
The
guy
it
that
comes from my shadow person experience. I honestly think the why I'm like that. All right, we do got a call here. All right, who do we got on the line?
Hi, Jason. It's Azariana. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, you're a little muted. But I found the thing you were talking about, Mount Shasta,
Yeah.
and I listened to the sounds, and it sounds. I put it in the comments. It sounds like Mel's Hole from Art Bell.
Really? I didn't get to listen to it. Because the video would not work on my phone. So, I'm trying to remember what that sounded like. It's been years since I've listened
Yeah,
to Mel's
I'll try
Hole
to send it to you if I forgot
Yeah.
to send it to you. But I sent it to Jamie and Rob and a few other people. But it does sound like that. There is also information about groups that go to Mount Shasta and they do the Lemurian sound healing
Okay.
there.
So that might be part of this.
I don't know. I didn't listen to those videos, but like I said, my opinion, it sounds like Mel's Hole, if it exists.
Yeah, I don't know on Mel's Hole. There's a lot of stuff that was throughout the years of Art Bell that was crap. I hate to say it,
right?
But there is, Mel's Hole is something that's always intrigued me, and a lot of people have looked for it and said they found it, and others can't find it. I don't know. I'd love to know. That always fascinated me, if that's real or not. It was an amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was it Amazing Stories by Steven Spielberg? It was on TV. It was one of the short story sci-fi fantasy things that did this one short tale about a guy who has a hole, and like he keeps dropping stuff in it and trying to figure out this hole. And it did come out before Mel's Hole. It was like in the 80s, before he was on Art Bell in the 90s talking about it. And I always wondered, was this guy just seeing that episode and playing off of that idea? That's what I was always suspecting, but Mel always sounded very convincing. The story sounded real, but I mean, doesn't sound real. It sounds crazy, but it sounded like he believed it.
Well, yeah, you could always look up Mel's Hole and the information about it. I did look it up and read the information on that. So supposedly with Mel's Hole, that the government blocked out. You know how you do GPS and satellite when you're looking for something?
Yeah.
They blocked it out. The government.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Cut them off the land. I don't know if it's true or not.
Right, I've heard that. I've heard that story now for years that they've covered it up.
But yeah. So
well, it's like
it sounds like
you sent me the Jonathan Reed story the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's one of the Art Bell ones that was a complete. That guy spun a tale, and it's very fat. Like he was very convincing. Jonathan Reed is very convincing in his tale. He's a great storyteller. I remember listening to that original interview of Jonathan Reed and he had the pictures and this whole incredible story, but he turned out to be a con man. And he's still spinning that con. He's still spinning it. Go do the research. There's plenty of people that exposed him many years ago. And he's not a doctor, and his name's not Jonathan Reed. I can't remember what his real name is, but it's a total fabrication. But it was entertaining. I was entertained when I listened to it back in the 90s. It was Art Bell. Yeah.
So the Mount, like I said, the Mount Shasta thing. What's it called? If they are doing like singing bowls and healing and Lemurian sound healing, I could understand if they're doing speakers and they're doing that for that. For healing.
But why leave all those behind?
I don't know. That's the whole thing. Unless they have permission to keep the speakers there to, maybe they expand the group there. Maybe they actually go on the mountain. I don't know. I've never been there. I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe they have permission for that. And
it's private property, so yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's government owned.
Permission from the owners, whoever the owners are. Sometimes they let you go on the property, Yeah. And you don't have to get a permit, and you don't get in trouble for doing that. If it's not that, and it's true sounds from the mountain itself, I would ask: is that mountain volcanic or on a fault, like how plates, like
it was
tectonic plates move?
It was a volcanic mountain at one time, right,
Jamie?
It
is volcanic.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say maybe the plates shift and sounds and things like that, or volcanic, maybe something's going on and it's getting active again. I mean, again, I don't know a lot about Mount Shasta, so, and I will admit to that. And,
Well, Well, it's somewhere
and
I've always
stuff like
wanted
that.
somewhere I've always wanted to visit. I've heard about it ever since I got into the paranormal and all that, and aliens and
No, it's
New
probably a
Age.
good place to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
probably
day.
very nice to go to.
One day, hopefully.
The only other question I had was that when you were doing the World Wide Web about the bird or something
And the dog.
that took a dog or something.
Yeah.
Was it an actual bird, like a thunderbird,
We don't know.
or or like a pterodactyl?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Whatever it
thunderbirds
was,
and
it
pterodactyls
laughed.
are the same, but could it be something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, like the Thunderbird has been reported throughout the ages for hundreds of years, but no definitive evidence, just like Bigfoot. But man, that's one that's always been harder for me to believe. I mean, just you feel like I've seen video of people saying no, that's a vulture turkey, not a Thunderbird, and things like that. I don't know. I think we'd have more evidence of a Thunderbird out there if there was, but. I mean, there's stories are continue. I mean, but like I said, this thing laughed, and I don't know if Thunderbirds are very much particularly happen in. That was Argentina, right? In Argentina.
Yeah, that was Argentina. Could it have been a condor?
No, like
It's
Jamie
South
said,
America, right?
there's no bird in the world right now that can pick up a 40-pound dog. That we know of. About 26 pounds is your limit.
Okay.
Let's even pick it up and fly off.
Yeah.
Well, let's say, I know birds, owls pick up. I don't know if they can pick up rabbits though. I mean,
a rabbit. Oh yeah.
Mice
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if they
We
can
find
pick up
rabbit fur.
rabbits.
There's rabbit fur in the scat all the time.
Oh yeah. They definitely
From the
get rabbits.
out here.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
But there again, a rabbit isn't
No.
40 pounds.
10 pounds.
So
Fat
that
rabbit.
would be, that would be questionable.
And these are
I don't know what it.
owls.
Those are just questions I ask because it's South America, and all these stories seem to be coming. All these weird stories seem to be coming from South America, and I know you had a while back about those space peelers or something in South America.
Peru.
I don't know if that was debunked or not.
No, I can't. Right now it's too late of night for me to remember. The journalist who's covering this did a great job. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he covered this whole thing. He's been down there, and it sounds like this is some kind of almost like a military test op going on or something like that of technology. Because what these people did with the one victim that was taken and where they pulled her up in the air and then let her go, she heard men talking in Spanish, right? And then one talking like a gringo, like he's speaking Spanish but in a gringo accent, like he's not Spanish. And they were talking about don't put or about putting the numbing solution on her face. So she was hearing them talk and argue. And they were on these hoverboards and wearing these suits. So that sounds like some kind of government psyop, something going on, maybe military test of technology, and they just use the cover of folklore to cover it.
Could it be that all the experimentation and maybe secret government labs are in South America for this stuff, that it shows up?
Or just maybe there's just a heavily
idea.
alien base there somewhere. I don't know.
Whether alien-based or military experiments or anything else like that, or labs creating various creatures,
Yeah. Maybe they have rifts or portals there that are open more than there are anywhere else. I don't know. I don't know, but it does seem weird. But like
Yeah.
the thing in Peru, I honestly, the way it all that journalists described what the incidences that they as they investigated in the witness testimony, it sounds like some kind of. My guess is that it's possible that our some military industrial complex company with some friends in the gold industry, because they're also trying to push these villagers out for gold mining. Collaborated on a test like, hey, we can go, we want to test out infiltration of these hoverboard and new, like, basically like they have a Green Goblin. I don't know if you're familiar with Spider-Man. The Green Goblin has like a hoverboard and a suit. That's what it reminds me of, the description of these guys in a sense. But if you wanted, test this technology as an insertion tool and extraction tool for a military operation, like to go in and take somebody. We're like, well, we want to do it and we want to see if we're successful and we want to use it in real time, situations, like, and we can test it in areas where people have folklore and myths about skin peelers, and we'll just play off of that. And our CIA has done that. We've played off of folklore and urban legends and myths on third world countries for different operations. So it wouldn't be the first time they've done that. And so that's my guess of what went down in Peru with the face peelers.
Okay. Yeah, but well, I have a whole bunch of questions, and you don't know if what's going on actually, but it does surprise me that it seems all to be coming from South America or Argentina, so as opposed to say California or Utah, something like that,
Yeah.
So,
but we've had ours recently in the last several years. You had the Las Vegas incident. You had the Miami Mall incident. We have some weirdness that's happened. Are they hoaxes, real internet phenomenon? I don't know to this day. But people are still talking about them. So. Okay. Well, thank you, Azariana.
Well, keep your fur baby safe, and and not outside if it does start happening in good old America.
Kiki, we are keeping an eye on. We're forced to, because she cannot be left outside alone now anymore. Even with the new fencing we put up around the chickens, my wife got a whole new fence. She's still finding a way to get in there. So we still have to be outside with her anyways to watch her. So she's always watched. Oh yeah, she's gotten inside. She lifts up the whole chicken coop and gets inside of it. So we have a whole other fence around it to keep her out. She's still finding ways into that.
You don't have.
But have you got?
You don't have cement underneath.
No, it's just it's a Timu chicken wooden coop. That's what I call it. We need to get a new one.
That you can like wrap the fence down under the dirt a little bit, so they can't.
This is she's got this really thick metal fence. She can't get around that. It's just the rest of the fencing that connects. We just need to buy some more panels. We need to buy more panels of it. Yeah. The one fence she bought works. It's just she didn't get enough. So there's still some of the wire fence that she's able to push her way under. So we have to keep watching her. I have to keep sitting out there and like make her do her business, which sucks because I want I get her to play and sometimes run her energy out there, and then I can do my stuff. No, I have to watch her like a hawk. I have to watch her like a hawk because that dog will make you think, oh, I'm not interested in the chickens. The moment you turn your back, boom, she's inside the damn chicken coop. She's killed 2 birds. I never knew a French bulldog I never knew they were going to be into birds, killing birds, but she's killed 2.
Well, once it got the
taste, not our chickens, but just birds.
What were they bred for?
Not that.
Bulldogs bred for?
Not that. They're not like hunting dogs or bird dogs.
They're pets.
It could be the breed itself.
Yeah, it isn't. We looked it up. It isn't part of the Frenchie breed. They were really used like in what they got really well known for is the trenches of World War I. They were little trench dogs. They'd send through to bring little messages and supplies. They used them for that. I don't know what they were bred for before that, but it wasn't birds. My wife looked it up. They're like the Frenchies generally shouldn't they're not bred for that. Just Kiki, she likes her chicken.
Yeah, well, she's definitely unique.
Yeah,
she
definitely is. We definitely lucked out on her.
So,
all right, thanks for calling in.
Enjoy her, and blessings to everybody, your fur babies, your family, and things like that. All righty?
All right, bye,
have a good night. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
I saw, is that too much trouble? You talking about the chickens there, Drake? Yeah. My wife has been contemplating that. She's like, should I leave the chickens out when we're not home? Because she's got this fence now where she can let them out of the coop and run around her garden in the area and they don't get out. I was like, do you want those chickens to be alive when you come home? Because, if you leave them out, there's hawks, there's all kinds of stuff that's going to get them, like without our supervision. I'm telling you that right now. And she's like, well, maybe it's just meant to be if they do. I'm like, oh, you're already giving up. You're already done with the chickens. I'm like, you put in way too much work into this. I'm like, she put in way too much work just to let some hawk or something come get those chickens. So I'm like, don't do that. We got to play this out, see how it goes. We got to probably have to get a whole other chicken coop by the winter because I don't think that thing's going to be winterizable at all. More money, but whatever. I mean, if we get eggs, it'll be cool. I've always wanted to be I want to, move more and more to having our own food grown, especially having eggs. We go through tons of eggs. So, hey D, wishing everyone a blessing week. Stay safe July for the holiday. Yep, I actually have July 4th off for working retail. That's rare. Yeah, but. Anybody else want to call in before we go tonight? 219-230-4444 is the best way to call in. Next week, like I said, anybody going to be here for next week's show is going to be Captain Damage, our friend Dan. And get to explore. Stories. Yeah. Get to explore more of these guys, like I said, people call in with their experiences over the years and all that, and we're getting pieces of it here and there. We're gonna flesh out what's been going on with Dan. I don't know if we'll have any answers for him, but we're gonna talk more. I mean, I've talked to him in private about this stuff. That's why I want to get it out there if he's comfortable with it.
But we'll get the full sit down explanation without the pieces in chat or the phone calls. We'll kind of get a better idea.
Yeah. And like I said, if you're interested you're an experiencer, if you've had even it's just one incredible experience, like my shadow person experience. It doesn't have to be a lifetime of weirdness. It could be one night of complete weirdness you had, and you want to talk about it. And you don't have to be on here for 3 hours. You just come on and talk about it for half an hour, an hour. I'm totally interested in that. Paranormal Soup, jbland@gmail.com. Facebook Messenger, not the greatest. I miss people's messages on there all the time. But I do check my email. I try to check it regularly. Paranormal Soup, jbland@gmail.com. And we can get you on here, talk about you want to be anonymous, that's fine. You just have to be able to come on StreamYard, which you can turn your camera off. You don't have to be on camera. I don't think Dan's going to come on camera. I told him you can turn it off. We're just going to have so you can hear his voice through this. Because I only have the one phone line.
He's still in panel. We just will see his
whatever picture thumbnail. Or whatever something. Sometimes it doesn't have anything.
A live photo or a live video.
Yeah.
Stream. It's whatever people are comfortable with. We just want to hear the story and have people have the opportunity to tell their story.
I mean, I'm still going to be getting guests on. I'm still working with publicists to try to get guests booked. It's just not been as many as it was over the last years. I've had a lot of different people on in 11 years we've been doing this show. And, there's definitely people I've had on before. I need to get back on the show again. But I'm looking, like Art Bell would have. I mean, Mel's Hole was a caller who called in and started talking about his hole. I know, that sounds so bad, right?
Wow.
But that's what I'm looking for. Is something like that where it's, that's Art's some of the best shows were people who called in with these experiences.
Exactly.
I mean, there's, I don't think I want a lady like the one he had was talking about sacrificing her child to Satan and stuff crazy like that.
No, we're cool with that.
I don't want that stuff. I don't want the dark crap, satanic, nothing against you. I don't really want to get into
There's
it.
way too much other good stuff. Yeah. We don't need
But
that.
This is experiences. We got to share our experiences. All right, speaking of that, we do have another phone call. Who do we got on the line?
Yeah, when I put you on speaker, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, speaker might not be the greatest. But don't worry about it.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I think.
I hear you.
I thought you guys were talking about having a different phone system where somebody can call in. I know you got a system, a different one, but like somebody can call in and then you could see their picture. You know,
That's
they
just,
don't
that's
have
just.
to.
Hold on, Mike. Mike, right? Is this
Yeah.
Mike? Oh, yeah, we didn't get. I recognize the voice, but that's if I gave out the StreamYard link. That's the only way. If we use the actual link that me and Jamie are on in the video call, that's
because this it's analog to digital. I don't know if I used to work for the phone company, but they still got central offices. Well, I mean, they could have went all digital. They wanted to get rid of the landlines, so I really don't know what's going on with this. But
it's a cell phone. It's a cell phone, literally lined into a small mixing board on my other port. The other phone call line that used to work is into my two big mixing boards, and that's all rerouted. And something got mixed up with the driver on StreamYard that I need to test out. And I have
because this system it's like pre-Skype or something. Yeah. Now they got Teams,
Yeah.
They got Teams.
And then we have to worry about
too bad you couldn't
coming in at once.
But hey, let's not worry about the phone line. You're here, Mike. Yeah. What do you want to talk about besides phone lines?
Well, I was just nothing really. It just I hope you have I hope you have a guest. I like when you have a guest.
Me too. Me too. But I'm trying to
I thought you had a lot of guests that you could bring on.
I've had a lot of guests over 11 years. Do you want me to keep bringing the same ones on?
I don't know. What? Because you get some pretty good ones with books and, I guess it is kind of hard to get a guest, huh?
I have the worst time slot in imaginable. Sunday night at 10 p.m. Central is horrible. But it's my time. It's the only time I get free. So that's why.
Oh, I was thinking about that earlier. Like, why don't you do 9 o'clock at night or earlier? But it's the only way you could do it because of your schedule.
Yeah.
You just reminded me,
I could go earlier, but it risks me having an event at work where I don't get here in time or time to set up. I have thought about starting at 9 o'clock and going earlier. And I also do it because by 10 o'clock, my kids are in bed on a school year night. Now they're not. They're totally up right now. But it started out when they were really little. That was my way. They were in bed and quiet. And that's why I started doing the show late. So I have contemplated going an hour earlier at 9. And, it's just like I said, it's a little risky on some work nights for me.
Yeah, your phone is a little better right now, but like a wave, like in and out, and it's on your side because I listened to the lady that just called in, and it's perfect on the internet, like on YouTube, it's perfect,
Yeah.
But it's just coming through the cell phones, and she picks it up too. The lady that called in,
Yeah. No, it's just it's the signal going back to you from the computer through the mixing board. I think it's a noise gate issue, maybe.
Board, the computer. Yeah. I didn't mean to get into all that digital analog crap,
right.
But see, I got out of the phone company as soon as they went to fiber. As soon as what did they Uverse? They called it Uverse,
Yeah.
And as soon as they were coming out with that. I was out of there. But, did you hear about Argentina? You guys remember we were just looking at Argentina, that humanoid or whatever? But, 1,500 people just died over there. Can you believe that? In an earthquake in Argentina. I thought it was Argentina.
Was it? I heard about the earthquake. Was it Argentina? I just did hear about that.
Yeah, I think it was. And that's what... I'm always thinking about reincarnation, like 1,500 people dead. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at a lot of theories, like that guy something Dwight. I can't. still getting a little late. I can't think straight. There's, it's not just near-death experience. It's more, about like astral projection. People are into that. That's all very subjective, you know. It's as subjective as dreams, you know. And here's one more thing I was thinking about. Your dreams are applicable because it's part of your subconscious. And you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
You had a nightmare you were talking about,
yeah,
you know?
about my neck. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your subconscious just trying to balance itself. You know what I mean? Like balance it's an amazing, subconscious is an amazing mind. It's a mind. It's an intelligent mind. It has intelligence, and you know, it's almost like I sound like I'm talking about something outside of myself. It's really amazing. You know, that is pretty amazing. It's almost like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit or something weird, you know?
Every time you
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Mike, every time you call in, I just think Deep Paranormal Thoughts by Mike. You know, like Jack Handy.
I know, I get off the wall. I get off the wall. But I've been trying to, I've been looking into some of this, these hypothesis, you know, about, and like soul traps and stuff. Did you ever get into that? You know, a guest on about a soul trap and stuff, you know?
I can't say I've had a particular guest on that subject, but it's come up multiple times over the years. And I always bring up the John Lear interview on Art Bell back in the 90s.
Yeah, remote viewing, right. He's passed away, right?
Well, no, he was about UFO. Yeah, John Lear did pass away. He was UFOs and aliens, and I talked to him about this. I called into another show he was on, and I talked to John Lear about this. He came up with this whole like rant kind of one night, or a hypothesis about what aliens really are. What they did is Art Bell would do he did a couple episodes where John Lear would lay out, okay, would you reveal the truth to humanity if this was the truth about aliens? And he would go down this whole, like, all right, here's why the aliens do this and who they are and all that. And one of the things was that the aliens have a base on the moon, and it's a soul capacitor, and it's taking our souls and reincarnating us, and they're in control of the afterlife. And would you reveal that to humanity? That was the ploy, the spiel that he would do in this. They did this in a couple episodes, and I asked John Lear about it, like, where did that come from? Like, you know, like this whole soul trap, the moon capacity. He goes, really, it came from a night of him and Whitley Strieber, like, just chatting on the phone, talking about what is the ultimate agenda of the aliens, who are they, what do they want, and this is the stuff they were kind of just shooting out in the air. And then he kind of put that together for that episode where, like, would you reveal the truth? Because John Lear lays it all out, and then Art Bell would go, you know, now would you reveal the truth to everybody? And then Art's like, yes, I think, maybe, I don't know. And then the callers would call in and say if they would reveal that truth to humanity.
I wonder if you could listen to those episodes.
Oh yeah, they're out there on YouTube.
On the internet. Oh, John Lear, I'm gonna look into it. I mean, so it sounds pretty. You know, he's associating extraterrestrials, you know, with our our seasons, you know, birth, death, and rebirth, right? He's associated.
Well, no, I wouldn't say. No, that's just what he was drawing from. John Lear was just a UFO researcher, but he like you, he had deep thoughts about what are the aliens' agendas and who they are. You know, let's say, and I think that's really where that came from.
Well, me and you talked about. We're surprised. Me and you were surprised. I was shocked when I was watching. I watched the Skull Project about two, three, or four times. I mean, it was fascinating, you know. But when I saw the picture of that alien come up there, wow, that blew my mind, you know, because all the other spirits the pictures were coming through of them, you know, the what is it called? ITC, you know, instrumental
transhuman communication.
However you say that.
Well, they were doing. Late, you know? they were doing trans mediumship is what they really were doing. They weren't even doing really ITC. They weren't doing like electron. They were getting stuff coming through pictures and all that stuff. But in the sense, what they were doing was
pictures,
was
film.
a trans mediumship.
Remember film, 35 millimeter, right? Stuff like.
But when they
like that.
Mike, when they started though, if you remember, it's not like them recording stuff or doing it. It was just 4 or 5 mediums get together and doing this trance mediumship in the dark.
Yeah. When they right. But they were doing other experiments, also.
Oh yeah, it grew. They started getting more. It got more powerful as they did it in a routine and a ritual every week. And it could produce the aports would show up. This is stuff that I'm saying they weren't sitting there with spirit boxes or anything. This is it's coming through them. As a mediumship.
You remember? It got pretty intense.
Oh yeah.
Stuff was flying around the room. Stuff was coins and jewelry and was appearing.
Mike.
I mean, that is powerful, man.
Remember, Mike? They took it on tour. They took the skull experiment on tour and came to the U.S. and witnesses here in the U.S. during one of these sessions witnessed the table pick up and spin and light up. Like the table was just spinning. Now, they had scientists sit in and magicians and people try to debunk it, and nobody ever did. So it was Skull Project was incredible. Robin McCoy was somebody I actually communicated with on Facebook. It was just, again, my time slot for somebody over in England was really awful, and he was getting old, and he sadly has passed away. But he was really nice to talk to me, and I wish I could have got him on the show. But he was one of the main people involved in that.
Yeah, I know you're kind of a young guy. You're like 40 years old, I think.
I'm 47.
Or 38.
47. I just turned 47 last week.
Oh, you're not too young. But when you become 61 like me, I've had a pretty long life, and I can remember back when I was your boy's age, and you think how long this. And then from here to there, to 61, and then you think it takes so long, and for you to do this again, you know what I mean? But maybe you're outside of time because we don't understand what outside of time is. It's outside of time. We don't know. So as the world changes through time, as the world changes, maybe your energy that can't be destroyed may in fact decide to come back 100, 200 years later, 500 years later, huh?
Or Mike, here's the one that makes your brain hurt. If there is no time, you simultaneously are existing in all these existences at once.
Yeah.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. No.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the light. When I get off the phone with you, I was just gonna watch a video with that one guy. Geez, I'm slipping his name. The NDE guy, the godfather of that. What's his name? Here. Hold on. I forgot his name. You hear his name? I mean, do you hear his name?
I hear a voice, but I can't tell who it is. Yeah, it's too garbled.
He's a professor. Moody is.
Moody. Raymond Moody. Professor Raymond Moody.
But how about like the light? And then it's like enticing to do you want to go through there? And then if you go through there, are you going to do the recycle?
Right.
Is it a trap?
That was the scary. That was John Lear's that's how John Lear hooked people into that episode. If the light is a soul trap, do you go? Do you trust it? Do you go to the other side? Do you go to the end of the tunnel? If it's aliens controlling your reincarnation and it's a trap, soul trap, then you're just going to be forced to reincarnate.
Right.
My
and you know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
my answer to that is, well, if all my other loved ones have gone there, like, for right now, the people ahead of me are like my grandmother, my great aunt, those people that have been gone ahead of me, and whoever does go ahead of me, in the future, they're there, right? There should be. They probably went to they didn't know about the soul trap. They went. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'll figure it out once I'll cross that bridge once I get there. That's I'm not saying.
Yeah. There was one investigator or guy with thesis or whatever, who, speculating, who had an near-death experience, said that he turned around instead of he seen the light, but then he just turned around the other way and saw all the universe and the galaxies, and then hypothesized that if you go there, you go back to where your soul group or where you originally came from, which who knows? You know what I mean? This
You
is
don't.
very subjective. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know. You won't know. There's no definitive proof of the afterlife for anybody until you go there. Or you have a near-death experience.
And the thing that's crazy, we just have a lot of children who have all this information they would have never had, and about past lives, children, and certain people, very few. And then we have millions of years, well, let's just say millions of years since the Egyptians. And then everything else is like stories. Jesus rose from the dead. Lazarus, we got a couple stories, but death has just been around forever, and it's a mystery. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
but it shouldn't be a mystery, right? It shouldn't be. But we're going to have to prove something here, empirically, not subjectively, right?
Maybe. I mean,
somehow.
it's been people have been wondering. I mean, the beginning of man. I mean, they found a civilization of pre-humans 40,000 years ago that were doing ceremonial burials. They're not technically Homo sapiens. I don't remember what species of human they were. One of the offshoots where they were doing 40,000 years ago ritual burials, and they understood something about death and burial and something about it. So it's the death and taxes. It's guaranteed for all of us here, at least in America, when it comes to the taxes part.
Yeah.
But death definitely for everyone. I always wonder why more people don't think about it.
Now, you don't believe in that alien interview, I don't think, from Roswell. You know what I mean? I don't think you do.
Which one? There's several.
That alien interview.
There's several.
I
don't know which one you're talking about, Mike.
A
They're all.
lot of people.
You're talking about the
a lot
one,
of people thought it was fake.
There's several. I don't know.
Oh,
which one.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was just going to mention one point about it.
Are you talking about the
alien
J-Rod one? Because there's one specifically called J-Rod.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that J-Rod was more interested in our spirituality or these things that you and I are talking about. You see, they're more interested in that. To our spirituality as humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I remember right, the
like
J-Rod one was they were a parallel version of us from the future. I remember a J-Rod.
Yeah.
I think, or like the P50.
Yeah,
they call them,
from either another time or dimension.
They call them P47s and P52s. One's from 47,000 years in the future, another one's like 52,000 years in the future. Two different
forward and backwards.
Right. This is the whole parallel. That's another deep topic. I'm not going to get into that far with you today.
We'll get into it next time.
Yeah.
I'm the best guest you ever had.
Well, thank you, Mike. Man, you have a good night, bud.
And I got a bad connection all the time, and I'm still the best.
If I think about it, I'll try to see if I can find that on YouTube. That or Whitley Strieber.
I got one hand tied behind my back, and I could still beat them all.
All right, Mike. Man, you have a good night, bud.
You too, Jace. I'll catch you next week. Hope you get a guest. too.
We
You
do.
know.
Yeah. Well, next
So,
week is Dan, and he is a guest. We're going to hear his experiences, and I do have some other guests booked down the line, but not a lot. So we might have a lot of these open lines,
okay.
but then you get to call in and talk with me, Mike, on those. You know, we get to have these.
Right on. And have a good night, Jamie Diamond. Jamie Diamond. You know.
All right. Talk to you later, Mike.
She's the queen of Paranormal Soup.
Oh,
right?
yes, definitely.
Okay.
Have a good night, Mike.
Okay, you guys, take it easy.
Bye.
All right.
But you know the whole like J-Rod or the P-50 or the P-47s, the P-52, like the aliens from a peril. I've always wondered if that's part of what's going on. And I say part of. I don't believe all of the alien phenomenon. Are they future versions of us? And we are getting the calls. We can get to this call here in just a second. But are they future versions of us? Right? That's been one of the theories I had even when I was a kid. I thought maybe they're future, because I understood the idea of parallel universes and that they're parallel timelines. So if there's multiverse and we have possible futures out there, the future's always in motion, as Yoda would say. But there's possible futures where out there in one timeline in a future we become asexual and have super technology and whatever, and we look like that. We devolve into that. The reason I got this thought, I was at a museum when I was a kid, and they had this thing up, what humans could evolve to in 3,000 years, or something like that. I don't remember what the time frame is. Maybe it was 10,000 years. And the being they showed me, I go to my mom. I forgot what museum we were at. I go to my mom and dad. I'm like, that could be an alien. I mean, what that looks like could be an alien. I don't remember how old I was, like a teenager, But I'm like, that could be an alien. That aliens could be future us. Look at that. That was always my thought. All right, we got another phone call. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, Jason and Jamie. You've got Colt Compound here. How are you tonight?
Hey, thanks for calling in, man.
No, thanks for taking my call. It's sweet to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I'd tell you a story about a cult, if you want to hear about that.
Yeah. I thought you were going to call in and tell us about the art project speakers thing, too, because that was really interesting insight you were giving us on that,
Well,
too.
yeah, I mean, that's a thing going on in electronic music, is that people are building stuff out in the wilderness for people to find. And I've been doing that, in my retirement a little bit, too. But one of the cults that I did a project for, I go to their cult compounds, and I sneak around the edges and camp out there and build like radio stations. That's what I do, is I build radio stations for the cult. And I write some original music for their victims as kind of memorials to memorialize people who died at the hands of the cult.
Wow.
And one of the ones that I did some work on was Marie Ogden's cult. I don't know if you've heard of Marie Ogden or not.
I know that name. Yes, I think I do. She has the. Is this the one in? Is this in Utah? No.
Yeah, it's in Utah. It was called the Home of Truth.
Yes. Yeah. It's barely coming back to me, but I have always been fascinated by cults. Don't ask.
Yeah,
But-
she was like early kind of medium and new age in the 1930s.
Yeah.
She was a very rich person from New York City, and her husband died, and this was like devastating to her. And sometimes when you're really sad, you start reaching out, I think. And she started exploring the paranormal, and mediums were really, really big also at the turn of the century, right? And so she started this cult, moved to Utah, near Monticello, Utah, where the cult compound is. Easy to visit. No people. The cult's not there anymore. They're all long since dead.
Yeah.
But what she was doing out there was promising her followers, eternal life. And so they were living out in the desert, trying to farm it. And she had made this promise of eternal life, which is good. That's good until one of your followers dies.
Not so
then you've got
eternal.
a problem. If you're, yeah, you got a problem suddenly as a cult leader when somebody dies. So one of her followers, by all accounts, a very lovely person named Edith Peshak, who passed away from cancer, she was trying to figure out what to do with the fact that this lovely member of her cult had passed away. And so what she did was promise that Edith was going to come back from the dead very soon. And in the meantime, they washed her body, fed her body in a way that I won't say for radio, but it had to do with milk and eggs and an enemas.
Yeah.
I guess I did say it for radio,
Yeah,
didn't I?
I was just saying, you
So
just
anyway,
said it.
Yeah, I guess I did. But anyway, they were keeping her soul alive in her body, and she eventually mummified. And her son eventually made contact with Utah authorities, and Utah authorities went out there to verify that she was dead, but determined that they were committing no crime. They were practicing their faith. What happened in the 1930s is this became a giant newspaper story. So we've forgotten about it now, but it was front page of all the newspapers back then, trying to keep bodies alive out in the desert. And the cult slowly faded, and Marie Ogden kind of faded into history. She ran the newspaper in Monticello, Utah for a very long time. And, I thought I've been appreciating your show a lot in recent years. So I thought I'd call you with an interesting story of a cult.
That is a very interesting story.
Long ago.
I've heard of it. I've heard of that one long time ago. It's like coming back to me as you're saying it, and then you said the name. I'm like, oh, it's something in Utah. I remember this one. It's a really strange one, but wow. So so something that you're fascinated by is cults,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I've visited many cult compounds in the American West. To go,
right.
Most of them, by the way, the cult's not there anymore, but sometimes the cult is there. And I sneak around on public lands and be sure not to trespass. I try to stay on public land, but I visit them and build a radio station for their dead. That's kind of one of the things I've been doing in recent years.
Are you
and I'm
sending this radio signal into the compound, in a sense, if they had a radio that could pick up your signal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So they have a little FM radio station that they can listen to. Of course, they don't know what it's for, but I write electronic music that controls the radio stations kind of directly.
Wow.
So so it's all very kind of, I'm very inspired by the 1960s and experimental music from the 1960s, but also I studied composition in college and have a music degree. So that's just one of the things that I like to go out and do with my electrical knowledge.
I'm just an ear musician. I've been trying to get back into guitar. I used to be a singer and guitar player in a band. I'm
very cool.
Trying to get back into just having an acoustic set with my best friend and trying to get back into it.
You should do that. I mean, I think this is the time in history when, all the middle tier bands are disappearing. I don't know if you know about this green dot thing that people are talking about.
No.
Where tours are getting canceled because they don't get enough green dots. That's, I guess, a reference to the ordering system. I mean, you go to the website and it's all green dots. Those are all that are available. So it's like only Taylor and Beyonce can sell out shows now, and the tickets are too expensive, and nobody can go.
But I think that's also the movie industry is going through that right now. They're all these movies are just
they're going
bombing.
through that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Hollywood's all shut down from what I've heard. But what's happening, I think, which is kind of cool, is that, there are people who just love music who go play at the bar. And there are people who love to listen to music. And, going back to the early 1900s, that's how music was done. People played music from sheet music. They played on a piano. They played for their family. They played at their local
look at blues
establishment that served apple cider, if you know what I mean, and people loved music because people could go out and make it themselves. And I think that's one of the things the internet has done, is it gives us a new era of live music that's free or inexpensive, or maybe 1,000 seat venues. I think that's very exciting.
Well, I mean, look at blues. How that started.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it was just
Yeah.
for black people, it was like a place of their own, and that they could, they'd throw these little shindig parties away and hope the Ku Klux Klan doesn't show up. And these guys become famous
Exactly.
from word of mouth. There was no internet. It was just word of mouth, and people would become like Ledbetter and stuff like that. They'd become, famous, from word of mouth, from their and just playing
Going town to town.
Right.
Going town to town. So, man, anybody who gets up on a stage and plays the guitar, that I think that's big time now. I think that's returning.
I miss
and I'm
playing.
glad it's back.
Yeah, I miss playing live in front of people.
Oh, get
I
out
haven't done that
there,
in
man.
years. Yeah, I grew up I'm 47. I grew up in the era of grunge. Like I got to see that
Oh, yeah.
that brief moment in time when the music industry was like, oh, what do we do with this? Like they couldn't totally control it at first, and then they ruined it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I do love some Screaming Trees, and I do love some Pixies.
Oh, God, man, yes. Heck yes, Screaming Trees. Oh, yeah. I got those, still got those on CD somewhere in this basement of mine. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up in that. I had all that stuff. I have the whole Italian harp box shaped box set of Nirvana. Has every recording they ever did, like I have Sonic Youth and all that. Oh, my God. Mudhoney. Oh my God, that was the era. I just don't listen to modern music anymore, man. I just don't. It's hard for me. It's so overproduced. There's hardly any modulation anymore, like soft tones. It's just like either in your face or too. It's just like regurgitated crap. I don't know.
Country music just became soft rock. What we used to call soft rock.
Oh yeah, oh totally. I've never been huge into country, but if I like country, it's the old stuff. Like really old.
It's the cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for calling in, man. Don't be a stranger. Do it again.
Hey,
you had a lot of interesting stuff.
Thanks so much thanks for putting on the show. I've really been enjoying it in recent years. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Colt. I just call you Colt? That sounds weird. Just Colt? Colt compound?
I'm semi-anonymous,
I know, that's fine. I'll just call you Colt. It sounds weird, but I'm going to do it. Because I get an anonymity.
Thanks. That's cool. Thanks.
All right, man, Colt. Have a good night, bud.
Bye.
That was really interesting. Like, I don't know why. I have a fascination with how people can just fall so blindly for certain figures or ideas. Morally, it's a personality they fall for that draws them in, like, Koresh or Jones or people that are these cult leaders that bring people in and they like just cut off their family. It's like, it's always the same mechanisms. But people for centuries still fall for it. What is it that in the human mind that makes them just buy into the I'm just going to say bullshit. Because, it's just such outright bullshit. Some of these cults. I'm sorry. I just, Scientology. If you're a Scientologist, I'm not trying to offend you. I don't like any of the organized religions, but, I'm like, how do people fall for this stuff? But they do. And it's a dangerous ends. You ever heard the Solar Templars? Whatever. They burnt themselves alive. They literally there was multiple compound installations where they set themselves on fire on the same day. It's, this crazy stuff people don't even know about has happened. And that's not that, it was in the 90s? There's just, it's crazy. It's fascinating at the same time. It's just like human behavior, how to understand why people fall for it. I don't know. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end the show there. I had some really great calls tonight. So I'm very thank you to Colt, Compound, and Mike, and Aziriana. Thank you guys for calling in tonight. We will be back next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel, with Dan, another great caller into this show, and we're going to get to really flesh out his experiences. We've talked in private at times about what's going on. I haven't revealed everything he's ever told me on this show. We'll let him guide us what he wants to discuss next Sunday. But if you are an experiencer like Dan and you want to talk, man, we should get Colt Compound on here just to talk about the cold stuff. I'd have him on here for I totally, maybe you guys aren't interested, but I totally get into whatever he's been doing with that. I want to hear more. But if you're like that, Paranormal Soup, jbland@gmail.com, email me. We'll get you on the show for half an hour, however long you want to talk. I don't know how long Dan wants to go next Sunday. We'll open up phone lines later. You just got to be able to come on StreamYard, which works on any smartphone mostly, and you can be anonymous, all that. Or if you do know like somebody you think is a big guest, I gotta give shout out to Al in South Korea. He's trying to get Laura Eisenhower on the show. Like he's like, how do we find her? We got to get her on your show. I'd love to have her. I don't know her. You know, the great granddaughter of Eisenhower, former president. You know, well-known name. I don't get the big names on here. I'm a small show. I try. I've reached out to Laura Eisenhower years ago. I've reached out to a lot of people you don't know that are big names. They've turned me down or they just usually don't answer. I'm trying. But if you can help, email me, paranormalsoup, jbland@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow and subscribe with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Thank you to all of our patrons and to our YouTube channel members and to the super chat from James tonight. Thank you, guys. It does help pay the bills. Thanks to everyone. We'll see you next Sunday.